What's up, guys? We're back with another episode of I'm Scared to Take This Boombox Apart here on Full Send Fixes. This week we have something really special, really cool. I've been talking about it for a few episodes now. This is the Dynasty personal disco component. I think it's called the DC909 or something like that as far as the serial code goes. This thing is really neat. It has a bunch of LEDs over here in the front. It's got some incandescent bulbs that light up each one of these subwoofers. I'll show you guys here in just a second. She needs a real good cleaning. I've seen there's a lot of rust on the inside, on the grates here. Everything's really dingy, really nasty. I'll get a close-up for you guys. But everything's real nasty, real dingy, so we need to do a good cleaning, and these two subwoofers need replaced. This one's very stained, and this one's pretty much blown out. We got to take this thing apart, clean it up, replace some subwoofers. We'll see if I decide to put this a Bluetooth module in this one. I probably won't. I kind of want to keep this one stock. It is very rare. One of the other neat factoids about this one is that this unit was actually in, well, not this unit in particular, but this type of unit was in a Madonna music video back in the 80s. This thing's actually 1987. So that's really neat for the technology of the time to have all these LEDs and these functional, basically visual EQs. There's actually even a visual EQ up here, so it's got more to give than just what you see here, which is already plenty. So this thing is awesome. I'm really scared to work on it. I've heard it's a very complex box. It's a very delicate box. So I don't know how everything's gonna go. And actually the tape decks on this one are damaged, so we're gonna have to try and clean it and see if that fixes the issue. So we got a little bit of work cut out ahead of us. So tonight on this episode, hopefully this is just a part 1 of 1, but it may end up being a part 1 of 2. We're gonna take the grills off, clean everything very well, and then we're gonna go ahead and replace those two subwoofers and see if we'll seal her back up. If not, I might still throw a Bluetooth in there. I still think I won't, but you never know. I might feel like it because this thing's never gonna leave my collection at this point. She's just too neat. I mean, all the light show stuff. It's just a really cool box. I'll show you guys how this thing acts with music real quick. So you can see. You can see the subs light up, and the little LEDs react quickly to the music while the subs react in the kick beat. So it's kind of neat. They did basically an EQ on these guys, where these guys light up with the treble and the mids, and the subs light up with the kick and the bass. So that's really neat. It's really good too. I mean, it's so reactive for the music incoming. So I mean, that's really impressive, honestly, especially for the day and time that this came out. You can see our visual EQ up here is still firing just right. Both channels are level. The volume knob still works. Well, knob. This one's a slider. The volume slider still works surprisingly well. It is very, very stuck, so we're gonna have to put some lubricant on it. But all of these, the whole, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The whole 7-band EQ works. I know that. I've messed with it a little bit. And our right-left also works. So all of the switches work. All of this stuff works. The radio does work, but they put a nub antenna on it, and I'm going to go ahead and bring it back to a normal antenna because I like the look of like the long antennas for these things. It is a part of that just 80s beauty. So we're going to go ahead and take her down, tear it up, clean it up. Let's take a look at this one more time. This is how it should function when we're done. This is exactly how it should function when we're done. Later on, I may do an LED swap on these lights that go behind the subs, just so that way they're in accordance with the color of their subs, because I really think that would be neat, where the green light would, or where the green sub would have a green light, the blue sub would have a blue light, red, yellow, so on and so forth. So anyway, let's go ahead, get this thing on the table, tear it down, and clean it up. All right, let's get started. Uh-oh. Thinking about how I'm gonna get you to stay, and if I try to use the obvious ways, would it get you to stay? Would it get you to stay? Okay, we got her on the table. This is what we're looking at. Super dirty, super grimy, hopefully salvageable plexi. All this nice painting underneath, which is good, so that way we can maybe give this a little bit of a scuff. Some dirty knobs. This one's a little bit bent. I think we're going to try and fix that from the inside. This is just our radio tuner. We can pull these guys off. We can't pull any of these guys off. They are all stuck to the board from the inside and have no way to come out without pulling the board itself. So we'll go ahead and make that decision whether or not we're going to do that once we get inside and see how difficult and problematic that's going to be. These grates are all held on from the inside in these four corners, so we're going to have to pull those off just to clean up inside of there, because they are nasty in there, man. It's just gross. So we'll clean up in there. I did hear some stuff rattling around on the inside, so that's not great. We do have that stain on this sub. I have no idea what that's from. We do have some rust on this grate, so one thing I may do is actually try and make this. Oh, this one's bent. That's annoying. It's bent from the inside. Anyway, one thing I may try to do is actually make these grates magnetic, because I think that'd be really cool to not have to try and pull these grates off every time I need to do some sort of work, and then clean off the inside, because this is all, you know, basically 40 years of shit there. So, and then these buttons used to be this nice shiny gold, and right now they're just very dull, and they have lots of grime and I assume moisture from the air. I don't know if this thing sat in a garage. I feel like a lot of these things did, but it feels like that would probably be the case. So we're gonna go ahead and pull these little guys off real quick and set them to the side for cleaning. We have to be very careful. They're very easily broken from what I understand. And parts for this thing, yeah, I found some, but they're not super easy to find. So we gotta try and be careful anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap paper towel, pliers, and pull gently, just like that. So, and these ones are like just a standard everyday plastic. They're not chrome like the other guys are. I'm kind of actually, that was actually a shocking thing when I got this thing. Ooh, that didn't sound good, but we're okay, so that's good. I was actually kind of shocked about that when I picked this thing up, that all these knobs are plastic versus I mean, they're all plastic, but they don't have a chrome coating, because a lot of these boomboxes have chrome coating. But I suppose with the color variations on the front of the box here, it kind of makes sense. You know, there's a lot of reds and blues, so I guess that would make sense. And it looks like I'm gonna have to remember, if you see on this thing, one side is kind of covered and the other side's wide open, and the side that's wide open slides in this way. So we have our little knobby dudes right here. And now we can flip over the box and see what it's going to take this thing apart. Okay, something kind of neat is that these right here, these panels, actually open up to reveal the incandescent bulbs that go behind the subwoofers. So I thought that was really cool. I feel like these days they would not do that. I feel like these days they would probably just, what does it say, caution to prevent risk of shock or something? Well, it's in my way, so I need this thing out. Prevent risk of fire only. Place with the same type 6 volt 100 mob bulb. Well, that's interesting. That's a strange bulb. It actually really is. These are your tiny incandescent bulbs, of which I'm not even sure what a replacement would look like. So we're gonna probably have to figure out how to rig an LED up at some point, just to give it a new life. See if I can get this guy out of here without breaking this connector. That'd be great. There we go. There's one. We're gonna set that in our, I did have a parts bin somewhere, but that's okay. I'm gonna set it off to the side just for now. Hopefully not accidentally breaking that incandescent. Somebody put this foam in here to push against this, because on the back of these guys here, you can see that there's actually these pieces of plastic. So did this one break? Nope. Somebody just set that in there nicely. Okay. So we'll put that with that bulb. These bulbs just pull out too, by the way. So there's the only thing that holds them on is those covers. So best not break or lose those. we go. So we got 2 bulbs out, and these are the bulb holders. So one day when I decide to figure out what to do in the LED range, I may just drill out these holders a little bit and get LEDs to fit inside of here. Yeah, you can see that whatever splash that sub is on this too. So I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of corrosion inside this unit, which is not great. I will say though, taking this apart just even this far though, I can tell you that this thing is dirtier than Mia Khalifa after a weekend of filming in Miami. Okay, we have the battery cover off. What I'm seeing back here is there's a metal plate, and that metal plate has a lot of rust on it. We're about to see that with this cable that I didn't even know was back here. I was wondering if they sent it with the power cable. I guess they did. I've been using my own for other boxes. Yeah, you see all that rust sitting on there? That's on the inside of this, so that's not amazing. Whatever that plate is really, really rusty to the point where it's starting to flake already, so I bet you that's the, like, noise that we were hearing from the inside of this thing, which is not good, because metal flakes going everywhere inside of something with, you know, conductive parts is just not ideal. Let's see here. A lot of screws holding this thing together. Let me take a look see real quick here. Alright, see, these ones are coming just fine. Awesome. Just pure awesomeness, these rounded out garbage screws. Oh wait, I think I got this one. Okay, so that one's out. Let's see. Okay. Most of this thing's opening up. Let me guess where that screw is that I was having issues with, is I bet you where we're holding still. I'm thinking we're gonna have to drill. So let's do that. So we need to just alright, let's take a look. Let's see what I got. Okay, yeah, that's pretty well drilled out there. Okay, there's something, I guess. Let's see if I can't get the sides of that screw to cave in now. Do you guys remember Eiffel 65? The Italian band that made I'm Blue. I've had one of their songs stuck in my head for days now. It's been quite annoying, actually. Okay. Might have to just go with the big guns and hope that we don't do any major damage. Yeah, it shouldn't take too much plastic, so let's see what we've got. I believe we have done it. I believe that got rid of the screw head, which is what I needed. Yep, that's exactly what that did. Okay. Now the box should separate, then we'll deal with how to get that screw out to put in another screw. I'm sure I have one that fits somewhere, because we should have just enough to grab onto with some pliers once we get in there to deal with that fucking bullshit. Okay, let's see. Okay, yep. We have detachment from that end now. I think a lot of this this box is mounted on the back, and I'm already seeing that nightmare come true. So should be great. What are we stuck on? Oh, you know what it is? It's the tuning knob, of which I always have a hard time getting these things off. I don't know why. Now we're talking. And just as I said, there's corrosion in there, so that makes sense. Nice copper brass meltiness, so. Whew. That was rough. Oh, no wonder why that screw didn't come out. Do you see that? Good Lord. Okay, this is an absolute horrifying mess going on here. Oh, man. I don't even know where to start. Holy shit. Okay. Literally every board is caked in dust, grime, and shit. I can't lean the box back right at the moment, but I will be able to here in just a second because we're going to separate the face from the backing. Oh wow, this is gross. Tons of ladybugs, lots of rust. This thing was not taken care of at all. We have a lot to deal with in here. That is disgusting and horrifying. I cannot believe this thing was functioning this well. Holy shit. Something came off when we took that off. That's not good. There's our screw. That's a really long screw. I don't know if I'm going to have something that's going to replace that. But honestly, that's okay. It'll still hold together just fine. And that's not integral to holding the board here. So I don't even know what's holding the board actually. It seems like if we wanted to do a Bluetooth module in here, we could though. So that's cool. I guess. We're not going to though, because this is already enough to deal with as it is. This is horrifying. A horrifying, horrifying sight. Okay. Let me get working on some of this stuff to get this faceplate detached from the box itself. We need to clean the light board, because that light board is awful looking. This is what, the speakers? I don't even know. This is wild in here, man. I wonder if the guy sent the speakers with some wire so that way I don't have to solder these. That would be cool. And I can see why it's delicate, by the way. It's just like a lot of parts in here. Okay, so we have the faceplate off. We're gonna go ahead and put the back down. There are so many ladybugs. Yeah, this thing was definitely sitting in like a storage unit or a garage or something gross. Okay, well we're going to set the faceplate off to the side for now, even though that's what we need here in a minute, just so I can examine further what's going on. You can see, look at all these dead ladybugs and just nastiness from inside this thing. Ugh. Okay, you guys can see what I'm seeing here. I'll show you. The screws are going to fall out, that's okay. No, it's not apparently. Okay, so we see the corrosion on this guy here. This is our little knob, but this is the light board down here, which is literally disgusting and backed by foam, which is, I guess, fine. Yeah, this is horrifying on the inside here. This is that plate that I was telling you guys was super rusty, and I'm going to try and get it off so we can clean it up with a wire brush, because it is really, really rusted, and I don't want that rust coming off into the box. So we're gonna wire brush it and rust reform it. We'll go from there. I'll probably just do that off camera, because that's not really super interesting. It's just something I need to do because this is disgusting and terrible. I don't understand what people do with these boxes that, like, you know, these things are amazing pieces of history and machinery from an era that's now gone, unfortunately. And they just take care of them like shit. I mean, look at that. Goodness gracious. Holy f***. I'm gonna dust that out. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually lean this thing up. There's cockroaches in here that are dead. Forgot the screws are going to come out. Let's not lose those, considering I don't have screws that look like that. very special type screws. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna tilt this thing forward and see what all I can get out of here, and then on the towel. Okay, and now we're gonna just take some canned air and try and blast this thing. One of the reasons I got this thing so cheap is because there's a huge hum in the tape recall. But seeing the inside of this thing, I am not surprised at all. I mean, why would a tape work? This is disgusting. Let's see if we can get these guys to pop off. Maybe we'll just clean them while they're on here. Probably just do that. Oh, there we go. Never mind. Did you break? Okay. Always sketchy pulling off these old guys, because you never know which plastics are going to give way, and then it's like, pff, you're fragged, dude. These have glue on them, though. I don't know. Maybe they won't come back on super easy. Okay. 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 There's that. Okay. Oof. Okay. Oh god, that one's not coming. Let's see, these twofers. That's sketchy. Okay. Okay. All right. They all came off. That's nice. I have a lot of cleaning to do. Yep. This is disgusting, man. I have a toothbrush for this. I also have this guy here, which... You know, I'm really glad I didn't test battery out on this thing. Because, like, that was part of the plan when I first got it, was to test battery out on it. But I can see how terribly wrong that would have gone, given the amount of rust and other shit that's in here. Hopefully after this she'll work on battery, that'd be cool. Okay, that's quite a bit better. I'll show you guys real quick here. You see that battery compartment? She's still got dirt down there. I think we're gonna have to flip it around at some point and clean from that side, because she's still pretty caked in rust back there. So let's see here. Where's my canned air? Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. This negative post, I think, is falling out of where it should have been sat. I believe is what's happening over here. So I'm gonna have to address that. Some rubbing alcohol over here on this toothbrush here. Try and get some of this rust scale off. Yeah, this may end up being a two-parter, guys, because this is a lot worse than I was really expecting in here. Let's see here. Let's clean this board off. Actually, you know what? Let me get my other brush. See if we can't get some of that dust and shit off of there. Whatever I can in here anyway, without stripping this thing too far down, because I mean, honestly, like, she's so functional that it would really not be in my best interest to strip everything out of the... Oh, look at that. So we can get a bunch of these buttons off here. Just don't know if we'll be able to get those other ones out there. Okay, that's obviously attached to the string. What were you attached to? Why do we have a piece floating around in here? That's a major concern for me. Anyway, let me just finish cleaning the bottom here, and then we'll we'll talk about that. I get distracted too easily. Yeah, this thing definitely had teams of whatever living in it, which is not cool. Alright, I think I'm going to flip it on its back again here. This towel is completely just destroyed in stuff right now. So, that's not good. I really need a bin for parts for this thing. So, show must go on here. Okay. You can see that this is a lot more clean than it was. There was a lot of rust scale in here and a lot of rust scale here from, again, that plate, which is just atrocious. And then there was a lot going on here, which we still have to clean up. But it's coming along a little bit. And this board was super covered and stuff, so it's getting a little bit better, a little bit at a time. And then we'll move on to the actual face of the unit, which houses the speakers. And we'll take a look there and see what happens. Yeah, I still need this thing tilted up. Just keep getting screws that pop out, which is good and bad. Okay. That's pretty clean as it goes in there. Let's see. Okay, that's pretty clean as it goes down in there. A lot better anyway. I can see where some ISO is still sitting. So we'll go ahead and just, because I can't fit my fingers back in there, just do this. Alright, so let's take a look. I don't know if y'all can see this. This negative here looks like it is mounted. It looks like it just needs to be pulled back to where it used to be. And I don't know how well it's going to work out, given where she is currently. There we go. There we go. Now we got that negative back in there. Okay, so she's not broken. We can definitely use batteries. That's great. So we got that fixed. Why don't we go ahead and start hitting some of these switches here. There's our tape record switch, which I've heard is usually the cause of that hum in this system, is the tape record switch. So we deal with that, we might actually be in business with that hum. Yep. Why don't we get some deoxit on these guys and try and clean them up a little bit. Yeah, that guy's super gritty. So let's do some cleaning first around them, and then we'll do some deoxit. from what I can tell, the type of cockroach I saw in there, it looked like a dubia. And dubias don't exist in Florida because they're illegal. Because they would cause major problems in the ecosystem here. I'm a plethora of useless knowledge, just by the way, in case you guys are wondering. I guess some of it's useful, or else I wouldn't be able to do this on YouTube, but mostly useless. Alright, let's get some deoxit in here. I'm gonna go ahead and get the, where's the play record? Just keep going with this here. Okay, that should be nice and ready to roll. Tedious work. This is just how you get clean with deoxit. Spray it and make it work. Let me see. I can't remember where I put that. Let me see what that's doing to the. It's hitting both sides. It is okay. It's hitting both sides. Just to make sure that both sides of this thing get lubed up nice. Yep. Yeah, they're looking pretty good actually. I can see those channels nicely. I walk this empty street on a boulevard of broken dreams. When the city sleeps and I'm the only one and I fix boomboxes. Whoa. 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 Whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa. And I'm in the shadow, blah 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 blue blee blue blee. Do doody. I'm not looking forward to doing the speakers. Till then I walk alone. Dun 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 dun. Oh, whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. We're gonna clean some of this deoxit off too, just because we don't want to drown the board here. But I need to spritz enough just to get the both sides lubricated up here. Don't like touching that. Okay, anyway. The only thing I'm going to have to do is clean up some of the excess deoxit because there's a lot on the board at the moment. And from what I understand, that's not good. I've never had any issues, but you never know. Somebody must have to have said something. All right, what I'm going to do is set it up here and take a look head on here. See what other bits and pieces I need to clean. Like these switches still need a lot of work. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna spray some deoxit Let's get some deoxit on these guys here. Get some of it in here, and then like some here. Full of nasty shit on these wheels, man. It's just like all bug poop and shit. It's just gross. That's where how the tape counters are in? That's hilarious. There's a huge belt that runs from here to here. From here to here for that tape counter. That's insane. It's pretty funny. Seems like a bit much if you ask me. This tape head has some significant damage to it, probably from oxidation. Seemed like the deoxit did a little something on it, but not really enough, I don't think, to really clean it. So I don't know if we're going to be able to bring these tape players back around or not. I'd love it if we did. Pretty much done all I can do with the tape players here. I'm not really super keen on those things. I just kind of get the idea of how they work, so. Yeah, I think we can go ahead and set the body to the side now for just a little bit, because there's not much else I want to do up here. Maybe just a skosh more cleaning inside of the little blue switches, because I still see dirt in the crevices, because I can't soak them like I'm going to the other ones, because they won't come off, so. Alright, we can set this off to the side for the moment. Okay. Back with the water bowl. We're going to put all of our buttons in there. Hopefully they all fit. I didn't have a bigger one to mess with today. Let's get the new subs from the package here. This is the way our subs came. And he labeled them blue and green, so that's what we got here. And those are the ones that we are replacing. It's the blue and green subs. I haven't actually looked at them. Okay, so he did desolder the leads, so we're gonna have to solder the leads on here. Which is fine, I just preferred we didn't have to do that, but that's okay. Let's see how these guys look. Hopefully no damage to the paper of the cone whatsoever would be great here. Okay. Well, you see these ones are stained too, and that was kind of a major reason why I ordered new ones. I mean, they're less stained than the other ones, I guess, but still stained. Okay, let's see how the green one came out. What? Was it green that I really needed? Was it that one? Okay, so the blue one was blown out, so that actually is still good, even though she is pretty nasty. We'll see if we can do a little bit of a clean on that. I don't know if it's gonna, how delicate that paper is. So I don't know what exactly to use to do a little bit of a clean on that. She's pretty yellowed out. We'll just have to see what happens here. And then our green one, that's gotta be, there's no way it's any worse than the one that's in there. The one that's in there is nasty, dude. Very nasty. Okay, yellowed out, still less stained than the old one, so we're gonna still go with that one. Let's take a look at these guys real quick, see if we can't do a little bit of a, kind of just a vague clean on them. I don't know what I want to use. I don't know if I want to try and use ISO, or if I want to use spray away, because it's a little bit gentler. I guess we'll just try spray away and super gently rub these, super gently. As a matter of fact, I kind of want to use, we're going to use a microfiber cloth. We'll go ahead and start with the blue, I guess, and see how we do. You know, these things are always so fragile after so many years that it's really hard to want to do this, but see if we can't bring her back around just a smidge bit. And there's a lot of yellowing, so. But, you know, she's 40 years old, so that's kind of what I expect, I suppose. She's not really getting any, like, better per se, but certainly not any worse than it was. With the added benefit of a little bit of stuff coming off, it seems to be holding together pretty well. That's what we got out of it. That paper is degrading. Just have to see how she does when she's in there. That yellowing is the paper degrading, and the white coming off, which is what that dust was in here, is that white coming off. Let me see if I hit it with just a smidge bit of this, if I can get this. Yeah, okay, good. Clean out the inside of that. It's good. Okay. Anyway, so the white powder that was coming off on this thing was actually just paper material from the sub itself, just from degrading. And as they dry up, I mean, the stains aren't getting any better, that's for sure, but like I said, the right sub that we're replacing, the green sub, is I think worse stained and pretty nasty. So we're gonna set these guys to the side for right now. Okay, so they glued in the subs, the screws for the subs, excuse me. They glued in the screws for the subs, so hopefully those come out pretty nicely. We have the yellow and the red wire going to this guy, and the yellow and 2 blacks going on that guy. Okay, so we need to remember that. Yeah, this is nasty, man. Look at all this. What the fuck? Gross. I'm thinking that the speaker grills might be harder to take out than I had originally planned on. We're still gonna do it, but I'm thinking they're gonna be a pain in the ass. Alright, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and I'm actually gonna clean out some of this already, because again, just dead ladybugs and shit everywhere in here. It's gross. There's some more rust scale, which is actually eating out one of the boards, so I'm glad we opened this thing up. I'm gonna actually take some deoxit and hit that. It's actually quite worrying, because it's starting to eat into the traces. I'm, again, shocked that this thing worked as well as it did. There's actually an old foam seal that's right here, which is really not doing its job very good, because the foam is deteriorated and wet. I'm telling you, they got this thing wet somehow, and I don't really know what they did to get it wet, but they got it wet. Whoever they are. Okay, let me go ahead and desolder these guys here real quick. Make sure that everything comes off nice and neat like. We'll pull off this sub right here. This should be a good screwdriver for this, I would think. Yep. So the only unfortunate part is, like, these subs looked really clean on the inside. Or at least this one did. This one obviously is the extremely stained, nasty one, but most of these, surprisingly, with how much oxidation is in this unit, were still very white and nice. The ones going in here now are pretty yellowed out, so there's nothing I can really do about that. It's just is what it is. This guy was blown, so that was kind of a major reason why I'm replacing this one. Okay. Yeah, see, and I mean, yeah, it's dirty, but it's not all yellowed out. It's got some like blue splatter on it, which is weird. Somebody's painting around it. I can actually see it on the inside of this grill here. But yeah, it's not like all yellowed out. Like, you'll see, here's a comparison to the old and new. This one's yellowed, stained. This one's just stained. So, whatever, you know. It is what it is. Again, they're not making new parts for these guys, so 40 years later, here we are. So I got that guy out. We're gonna keep this guy. We're just gonna set him off to the side. Now let's see this guy, because this guy was the nastiest one for sure. Let's not do that. Okay. Aha. There's our nasty stain of whatever happened to this thing. I don't know what that is, but it's gross. The green cap looks great here. That's nice and untouched, just needs cleaned. But the rest of that sub looks super, super gross. Even in comparison to the vaguely yellowed out version of that. I bet you this was a smoker in their ass, but anyway, this is like way, way grosser. So this is the one that's going in, this is the one that came out. I don't know if we can like maybe throw white paint on these one day or something. that would solve the yellowing issue. I'm not really sure. Okay, now we have 4 screws to get the grill off. Oh yeah, that thing just stripped out. Neat. Okay, so I guess we're drilling out a fucking screw again. That's nice. What I don't understand is how that screw head is still there. Because now we're digging into the plastic. And yet somehow that screw head is still a thing. That shouldn't have left too much damage. If anything, that's where we're going to put the magnet anyway, so that should work out just fine. Okay, now we can unfold this stupid fucking flap. Luckily not that much glue. Unfold this flap. Unfold this flap. Just push on that. Push on that, push on that. These just need the top half to come off here, which is being a bit because of the way this thing's bent. Okay. Good Lord. Alright, I'll flip it around so that way y'all can see what this thing looks like with the grill off there. Yeah, grody. Super grody. Not at all unexpected. See? Caked dust, super caked. Blue paint splatter, for whatever reason there's blue paint splatter for. Looks like that gold should come back around pretty nice. These grills need painted pretty bad, so probably gonna do that. Let's just start with some ISO on a paper towel and just try and knock off as much of this heavy grime as there is. Heavy duty grime. Gross. Oh, whatever this gold paint is not doing well. It's coming off. Nice. Very nice. I really liked the gold paint. I guess maybe we just delam it the rest of the way. I don't know what to do. I do not know what to do. I really built this thing cheap for how cool it is. So you can see, I just went over the black. It's not even a separate ring. I think I'm just gonna call this a fucking night. I'm gonna just continue cleaning on this section a little bit more before I go to bed, and then I'll clean those buttons a little bit. There's nothing really that interesting to see there. It's just gonna be me wiping dry these buttons, and I'm gonna try my best not to delam the tape deck buttons. So anyway, thank you all for watching. Next week we'll get a lot more work done on this. We'll disclose the new paint situation, and what we'll do is we'll do one side at a time because I'm going to probably pull those subs just so that way we can get a nice tape line around in here, so that way this remains black, and then we can get some nice tape lines around the box. So it's going to be quite an extravagant pain in the ass. Yeah, either that or we'll just pull those subs next week and we'll go ahead and just get this thing taped up. Anyway, see you guys next time. This is about to be a multi-part box, and I think that we will just go ahead and do the Bluetooth module to this thing. We'll see you guys in the next episode, where we hopefully get something done with this piece of shit. Thanks for watching.